I want to welcome and to thank our witnesses for being here. We know that you put a lot of hard work into it, and the staffs and the senators have done the same thing. The information that these witnesses will share will help inform the committee as it addresses the issues of high prescription drug prices. America has a problem with the high cost of prescription medicines. Whether it's about EpiPen, insulin, or other prescriptions, in the thousands of letters that I've received, Iowans have made clear that high drug prices are hurting. I've heard from people about skipping doses of their prescription drugs to make them last until the next paycheck. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but rationing's one medicine doesn't sound like the safe prescription for health and wellness that Americans want. Others have told me about leaving their prescription on the pharmacy counter because it costs too much. There's no question that researchers and doctors have developed treatments and cures for diseases where there were once no such cures or treatments. And such innovations take time and money. I think all of us at this table and most people that aren't at this table, if they study at all the pharmaceutical industry and the FDA process, we know it takes time and money. But we're all trying to understand the sticker shock that many drugs generate, especially when some of these drugs have been around for a long, long time. There is a balance then between incentivizing innovation and keeping prices affordable for consumers and taxpayers. And the taxpayers are involved because the federal government is a great purchaser of drugs through a lot of health programs. Like all systems, things can get out of balance. The good news is that we're here to discuss solutions, and we thank all of you for cooperating with us in that effort today. In fact, we're here today thanks to a system of checks and balances that's within our Constitution. Congress has a constitutional responsibility to be a meaningful check on the spending of taxpayers' money. That responsibility includes not just holding hearings, but also holding the private sector and the government accountable through oversight. Just like a doctor, that doctor has to properly diagnose a disease before it can be treated. Congress needs to understand what's going on in the drug pricing supply chain in order to respond in a measured and effective way. As part of that fact-finding, as of the last Friday, Ranking Member Wyden and I launched an inquiry into the high cost of insulin. This hearing is not about scapegoating any one group regarding high drug costs. That's why we're holding a series of bipartisan hearings on this issue. Without a doubt, drug pricing is a complex issue. But I think we should also be asking whether or not it is too complex or whether it should be so complex. We cannot allow anyone to hide behind the current complexities to shield the true cost of drugs. And we shouldn't turn a blind eye to industry's practices that thwart laws and regulations designed to promote competition and generic drug entries into the marketplace. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, FDI Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, and the Federal Trade Commission have identified a number of tactics that undermine competition, like withholding samples, pay for delay, product hopping, and rebate bundling. And that just names a few. While these agencies are taking enforcement action or looking at regulatory changes, We here in Congress are exploring legislative options to deter companies from engaging in these practices that keep drug prices high for patients. Today, we expect open, honest answers from the pharmaceutical industry to figure out how we got where we are today and see what ideas they have to make things better. One of the first things that we need to talk about is pretty simple: list price. Now, you folks are probably going to tell us it's not that simple. Secretary Azar has said that pharmaceutical companies believe that the list price is meaningless. In fact, some of your testimony today will echo that. However, for a patient taking a drug that has no competition, the list price then becomes very meaningful. For seniors on Part D who are paying coinsurance as a percentage of list price, then for that person, list price is very meaningful. For people who have high deductible plans and pay thousands of dollars towards the list price, then for those people, the list price is very meaningful. For pharmacy benefit managers, providing drugs with a high list price can be more attractive than providing a less expensive drug. Therefore, for the taxpayers, then, the list price becomes very meaningful. We've all seen the finger pointing. Every link in the supply chain has gotten skilled at that finger pointing. But like most Americans, I at least, and I think you'll find most members of Congress, are sick and tired of the blame game. It's time then for solutions. One way or another, we're going to get some clarity. The American people deserve straight answers and real solutions. On that note, I want to remind each of our witnesses that it's a crime under Title 18, Section 101, to provide false testimony to Congress. I thank you all for coming. Senator Wyden.